I know there's a whole lot more big long passage there in your little books. Some of it is optional. And my option was to stop right there. Because that first paragraph, those few sentences, are so powerful that we really should take those and inscribe them in our innermost being. You know, Jesus is saying something very simple. He's saying, your treasure, whatever it is, must be compared to the treasure of God's reality in your life. And he says that that's a treasure that is so great that no thief can break in, no moth can destroy it by eating it up. And then the punchline, the really important thing, wherever your treasure is, that's where your heart will be. And I ask you to take those two words home with you today. Just those two words, treasure and heart. Because in those two words, we have everything we need to know about our faith and about our relationship with God as individuals and as a community. What is treasure, first of all? Treasure is that which is most powerful, most valuable in your life. The most valuable thing in your life. You have to choose that. You're free to choose whatever you want. Your treasure may be many, many things. For some people it may be money, it may be power of some kind, political, military, economic. For others, it may be sex, it may be drugs, maybe something that is completely absorbs their whole personality. You have to choose that. And once you've chosen that, your heart follows it. That's where your heart is. As we know, the word heart in the Bible always means the deepest human reality. The deepest reality both of us as people and of God as well. The heart in the Bible is not this pump in our chest that pumps the blood around our system. The heart in the Bible is the essence of the human being, what makes us who we are as human beings. And so I'd like to give you two examples of choosing the treasure and how the heart goes to it and what the result of that is. One of these two examples is fiction. The other is real. It's about somebody in our parish community. The fiction is a story. It's a series on television called The A Word. And the A stands for autism. And it's about a family someplace in northern England, which is a married couple, and they have two children, an older girl, a teenager, and a little boy, 5 years old, who is autistic. And the parents, first of all, try to avoid it. They deny it. But eventually they come to realize that they can't deny it. The little boy is autistic. It's a great grief and sorrow for them, but they put themselves into dealing with it. And especially the mother. The mother so completely invests herself in this child with all of her maternal love and diligence and power to go out of herself to do something for this little boy. He is her treasure, or her need to go out to him is her treasure. Maybe the two are not exactly the same. But she does that, and it's a good thing, obviously, for a mother to love her child, especially a needy child, to go out of herself, to put all of her energy into caring for this child. But in the course of doing that, her heart is so much invested in that little boy that she loses her contact with the rest of her world. So her husband and her teenage daughter, who needs her very much, are shut out. She has completely invested herself in this treasure of this little child. Now, we can't condemn something like that, but it's just important to think about what it means to find your treasure in some place, in someone even, who so completely absorbs you that you have no room for anything else. And everything else becomes secondary, and perhaps you may lose the rest. And of course, in the family, everybody has to stick together. Everybody has the need of the parents. So you may make a judgment about that for yourself. If you want to watch it, I think it's on the Sundance Channel on Wednesday evenings, if you have that on your cable. It's a very interesting and very really wrenching, heart-rending story about making a good choice, putting yourself into your treasure, but not necessarily having a happy outcome. The idea simply is you have to make the choice knowing that your heart will go in that direction, and the consequences may not be what you intended. But it's the choice that you have to make. And God makes us free. Free will is the essence of being human. You can take away everything else, but if you take away human free will, you don't have a person anymore. So God gives us this great gift, and we have to use it in the best way we can. The other example that I'm going to use, just again, as I said at the beginning, came to me immediately before we started here, because I was talking to Mrs. Hill about her son, Eddie. I don't know if you know the Hill family, and they had two boys, Nate and Eddie. And she told me that Eddie has just started medical school. He had become interested in that working in a hospital, and I can relate to that because I was a hospital chaplain for many years, and I know how much it's possible to be invested in that, to take that into your heart, and to know how important it is. Jesus took care of the sick before anything else. Remember the gospel we had recently, he fed the 5,000. Before that, people brought their people to him, their sick people, and he healed the sick. So healing the sick is an essential part of the Christian ministry. So this young man, a member of our parish, has decided to become a physician. He's starting on that long, arduous path. We pray for him, hope that he'll be able to make it. But there's an example of making a choice about where your treasure is. The treasure of knowing that you have to give yourself in this way to those who are greatly in need. And if you do that, and your heart goes out in the same way. It'll take a lot of heart to get through medical school and an internship, and then become a doctor and make a 6-figure salary. Maybe. But it takes a lot of deep human heart to go in that direction, to make that choice, and to know that your heart is going there. That's your treasure, and your heart goes there. And that's a great blessing for many, many people. We all have to make those choices. What is the choice we decide is our treasure? Unfortunately, in a society like ours, too often the treasure is seen as material success, whether it's wealth or fame or something like that. That goes no further, maybe, than the individual. There's too much of that. Jesus specifically talks about material possessions. We all have them, we need them, we can't give them up, but the danger is that they will so completely absorb our being. Our heart will be so much taken up by those things that there'll be nothing left. Or we can make a choice, and it can be today. It doesn't have to be early in life, like a young man going into a certain profession. Today, you may make a choice as to where your treasure is, and let your heart follow. It isn't necessarily one thing that happens at a particular moment in life. It can be something that is there in many ways for many, many days of our life. So we come together today as a community of faith and goodwill and mutual support, and we pray for one another that we may find what our treasure is and that our heart may follow that. So I end as I began, only 2 words, treasure and heart. Take them home with you. Let them be a part of your thinking and your prayer, and you can be sure that where your treasure is, God Himself will be sure that your heart follows.